Chapter 4: The Forgotten Reef. The Starlight Voyager glided through the crystal clear Caribbean waters, the sunlight refracting off the waves in shimmering hues. This particular voyage had brought an unusual mix of guests: an elderly historian with an intense passion for ancient maritime roots, a young couple celebrating their engagement, and a taciturn solo traveler who seemed to prefer the solitude of his private cabin. Captain Dana, silver gray, stood at the helm, her navy blue cap casting a shadow over her sharp eyes. She observed the waters with practiced calm, though beneath her seasoned exterior, she was deeply focused on navigating a route she'd never tried before. "Aye, the forgotten reef," Ray grumbled, entering the bridge with a toolbox. "You know why it's forgotten, don't you? Best left that way. No one sane sails near it." Silver grinned, brushing a silver-streaked lock of hair from her face. "Nothing wrong with a little exploration, Ray. Besides, our guests want a bit of an adventure." Ray muttered something under his breath, retreating to his usual position in the engine room. He'd managed the yacht's innards for years and still treated every mechanical hiccup like a personal insult. The yacht was his fortress, and though he'd never admit it, he held a special affection for everyone on board. In the galley, Aiden worked his magic, humming to himself as he diced tomatoes with military precision. His tiny kitchen space held an impressive arsenal of spices and ingredients, each meticulously labeled. To him, cooking on the Starlight Voyager was like playing jazz, improvised, bold, and always with a touch of chaos. "Aiden," Camille called, slipping in as he garnished plates of seared snapper with tropical fruit salsa. "Are we really going to the Forgotten Reef?" "Silver's orders," he replied, plating the meals. "I just hope we're back in time for dinner. This fish is too delicate for the freezer." Camille chuckled. "I'm sure Silver has it all planned. She always does." Camille, the yacht's marine biologist, had joined to study coral formations but found herself caught up in Silver's escapades. She was reserved but fascinated by the sea's mysteries, and the Forgotten Reef was no exception. From what she'd read, the reef held hidden species and intricate cave systems where even the faintest bioluminescent plankton glowed like stars in the depths. Isla, the deckhand, scrambled up from below, her face glowing with excitement. "Is it true?" she exclaimed. "Are we heading to the Forgotten Reef?" "Yes, Isla," Silver answered with a wry smile. "But remember, it's tricky waters. Pat, stay alert and follow Ray's instructions on the rigging." Isla's enthusiasm was infectious. She dashed to her duties with boundless energy, her laughter ringing over the water as she prepared the yacht's lines. To Isla, each voyage was a new chapter in the journey toward her own dreams of one day becoming a captain. As they neared the reef, Camille joined Silver on the bridge, her notebook clutched tightly. "This area is rumored to have coral varieties that fluoresce naturally," she whispered. "If we get close enough, I might get a few samples. Just don't let it become one of your fishtails," Silver teased. Suddenly, Owen, the yacht owner's son, stumbled into the bridge, clearly groggy from a long night. At 27, Owen was the embodiment of reluctant luxury, his designer clothes and easy wealth in stark contrast to the hard-working crew. Despite Silver's insistence that he pull his weight, Owen mostly floated through his responsibilities. But for some reason, he had a soft spot for the crew, and especially for Camille. "So, this Forgotten Reef," he mumbled, rubbing his eyes. "Is it dangerous?" "It can be," Camille replied, casting him a knowing glance. "But it's also beautiful, full of life." By early afternoon, the reef came into view, just as Camille had described, a maze of coral formations in vibrant blues, reds, and greens, punctuated by hidden caves and shadowy crevices. Silver eased back on the throttle, and the Starlight Voyager drifted to a slow crawl over the area, careful to avoid the sharper rocks jutting out from the reef. Aiden emerged from the galley, wiping his hands. "So this is the Forgotten Reef," he murmured, gazing over the edge. Camille wasted no time, slipping into her wetsuit. "I'm going in. Just a quick dive." Owen watched her, an uneasy look on his face. "Shouldn't we, I don't know, stay close to the boat?" "You're welcome to join me," Camille replied, raising an eyebrow as she adjusted her snorkel. Owen hesitated, glancing at Silver, who gave him a casual nod of approval. "Don't worry, Ray will keep an eye on things," she said. With that, Camille and Owen slid into the water, drifting down toward the reef's vibrant ecosystem. Schools of tiny fish darted around them, and Camille's underwater flashlight illuminated coral formations that sparkled as if dusted with gemstones. Isn't it incredible? Camille mouthed through her snorkel. Owen, surprisingly captivated, nodded, his gaze fixed on a particularly brilliant cluster of coral glowing under Camille's light. They swam further into the reef, marveling at the natural wonders hidden beneath the waves. Back on deck, Isla paced restlessly. "They've been down there a while," she murmured, looking at Silver. "They'll be fine," Silver replied, her voice calm but watchful. She kept an eye on the waters, sensing a shift in the waves. A slight tug at her intuition hinted at an approaching storm. And then, as if on cue, a dark cloud rolled over the horizon, casting an ominous shadow over the Starlight Voyager. "We need to get them back on board." "Now," Silver said, her voice sharp. Isla sprang into action, signaling to Ray, who readied a rescue line. Underwater, Camille and Owen noticed the change too. The light dimmed and Camille motioned for them to surface. But as they turned, a sudden strong current swept them, pulling them toward the reef's caves. With every ounce of strength, Camille managed to latch onto the rocks, holding Owen steady as they struggled to swim against the force. In a burst of desperation, she yanked Owen to the surface, where Isla and Ray were already maneuvering the rescue line their way. They grabbed hold just as the skies opened, torrents of rain cascading down in waves. Silver took charge on the bridge, directing everyone with the calm precision of a seasoned captain, steering the yacht safely away from the treacherous waters. Back on board, soaked and exhausted, Camille and Owen collapsed on the deck. Aiden appeared with towels, his usual gruffness replaced with genuine concern. "Well," he said, handing Camille a mug of hot tea, "you got your adventure." Camille let out a weary laugh. "I suppose I did." Silver, standing at the helm, chuckled. "It seems the forgotten reef isn't so forgotten after all." The storm subsided as quickly as it had appeared, leaving the crew and guests with an unforgettable experience. That night, as they sat around the deck, Aiden served up a hearty seafood stew, and Camille regaled them with tales of the reef, the thrill of discovery renewed in her voice. And as the Starlight Voyager drifted under a starlit sky, they each felt a little more connected to the sea and to one another, knowing they'd face the unknown together, beneath the stars and waves.